Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, OSHA investigators now at the site of the plant explosion in West Hoff. And over 131,000 people still without power following Thursday's storm in Houston. Plus, a small plane crashed at Hooks Airport this morning.
Well, the heat is here and it's going to be here for quite some time, so we're going to have to start getting ready for it. Temperatures today hovering around 90, should be even warmer as we get into the long Memorial holiday weekend. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
Pedigree recalls their dog food after reports of metal found inside contaminated bags sold in Walmarts across Texas. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. OSHA investigators are at the site of a plant explosion in West Hoff from last Friday. An employee at that plant, 41-year-old Larry Hendricks of Beeville, was killed in the explosion. The explosion happened at the saltwater disposal plant. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the explosion, and an autopsy has been ordered. Now, a 23-year-old Victoria suspect bonded at Victoria County Jail Tuesday. Trent Huff-Power was arrested this morning by Victoria police. He faces 2 charges of human smuggling from Kenny County. He was in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $50,000 bond. And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, hot out there.
Yeah, that's going to be the forecast for a while, folks. We've definitely turned the corner and we're heading out right into summertime. Temperatures today again on the warm side. High pressure is building in and basically everybody under this line is under the gun for heat. Now, there is this system that will sort of skirt to the north of us tomorrow. But after that, we get into the weekend and it's just going to be maybe even warmer. Yeah, we'll be talking all about that coming up a little bit later on. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Over 131,000 people in and around Houston are still without power days after a ferocious storm. But CenterPoint Energy is working to get those lights back on. In the meantime, community members are trying to keep their spirits up as temperatures soar into the 90s.
For some Fifth Ward neighbors, this church truly answered their prayers.
I really want to pour it all over me. That's how I feel.
Cornelia Mana was thankful to get the water because she hasn't had power in 4 days. CenterPoint Energy maps show her community may not get it back until Wednesday.
I feel like you in the oven. It's better to be outside. That's why we outside right now.
The heat, even New Direction Community Church volunteers are dealing with as they pass out food and water. The building has no power. Using a gauge with a humidity reader, it showed the feels-like temperature inside parts of the church was nearly 110 degrees.
That's hot, but what I think about is the people that's dealing with this day in and day out.
As neighbors deal with the danger of no power, they're taking steps to eliminate some when it returns.
Unplugged everything because I don't want it to be a fire.
That's something Houston firefighters believe didn't happen in this complex in Spring Branch. They say when the power went out, someone left an appliance running. When the power came back, the appliance started a fire.
Make sure they're off so when the power does come back on, it prevents a situation like this from occurring.
Even if you didn't lose power, hurricane season is days away. Consumer Reports says there are things you can do to deal with an extended outage. You may not be able to charge your phone. Make sure you write down important numbers and addresses. You may also want a cooler because food in the fridge may spoil in hours. Know that it may also be on you to get the power to come back on. If you have a weatherhead and it gets damaged, CenterPoint says you need to have an electrician fix it, a problem the church handing out food is dealing with.
At this point, we really don't know. We really don't know. We just going to continue to do what we do here in the community.
Faith that delivered in a big way.
You're thirsty.
As neighbors struggle with the heat and no power.
I don't know what we would do if these people wasn't here.
Prayers answered as neighbors wait for power to be restored.
Crews responded to a small plane crash where 3 people were rescued at Hooks Airport in northwest Harris County this morning. The Klein Fire Department says 1 passenger had self-rescued, and a rescue was underway for 2 remaining people on board before everyone was reported safe. 2 dogs named Macy and Cindy were also rescued. The cause of the crash currently remains unclear. Pedigree is recalling hundreds of bags of dog food across 4 states, including right here in Texas. The brand's parent company, Mars Pet Care, issued the voluntary recall because loose metal pieces may be in the bags. The impacted products include the 44-pound bags of Pedigree Adult Complete Nutrition, grilled steak, and vegetable flavor dry dog food. The bags were sold at Walmarts in Texas. Mars Pet Care says customers should throw out the food immediately and to contact them for a refund. Now, the sight of a newborn baby usually brings out the love in most people, so much so that this idea has turned into a business. Tanja Moon, founder of the Grandbaby Project, visited with the residents of Bethany Senior Living in Port Lavaca this morning. Moon brought along several baby dolls with her, and although they were just dolls, it was good enough for the residents to hold, talk to, and fall in love with. Moon says her nonprofit organization proves to help ease dementia symptoms as well as overall anxiety levels.
So these residents, many of them will believe that they have been handed a newborn baby, and they will comfort that baby and take care of that baby, and it just gives them purpose every single day.
If you are interested in the Grandbaby Project, visit thegrandbabyproject.org. And a quick reminder, early voting continues through Friday at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Early voting hours are Tuesday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So here is your viewer poll question this afternoon. The question is, does political mudsliding encourage you to get out and vote? Yes, no, or indifferent? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Both sides have rested in Donald Trump's historic criminal trial. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, what the experts have to say. Also ahead, the EPA is warning of possible cyber attacks on water systems. This story and more up next.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information about a wanted person. Felix Rivera is wanted for bond forfeiture on original charges of manufacture, delivery of a controlled substance, and tampering with evidence. Rivera is 30 years old, 5'6", 160 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He has tattoos on his face, chest, stomach, back, and both arms. If you have any information about Felix Rivera, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With Victoria Crime Stoppers, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Pro-Palestinian protesters were removed from today's Senate Foreign Relations hearing where State Secretary Anthony Blinken is testifying. As Secretary Blinken entered the room, demonstrators with what appeared to be red paint on their hands could be heard voicing their disdain, calling Blinken a war criminal and complicit in genocide. It's unclear if those demonstrators were arrested. Both sides have rested in their historic criminal trial against former President Donald Trump. The jury has heard weeks of testimony and could start deliberations as early as next week.
Former President Donald Trump could potentially face prison time, with a jury of 12 New Yorkers expected to start deliberating as early as next week in his hush money payment trial. Over the course of 4 weeks, prosecutors calling 20 witnesses, Trump not taking the stand in his own defense, his team calling 2 witnesses to testify, including longtime Trump ally Robert Costello, who testified that Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen told him numerous times that President Trump knew nothing about that $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. But Cohen, who testified for 4 days as the prosecution's star witness, says he lied to Costello about Trump's involvement, claiming that in reality he had more than 20 conversations with Trump in October of 2016, just days before the election, about Daniels.
If I had been the prosecutors, I probably wouldn't have ended on Michael Cohen's testimony. I've talked to a lot of prosecutors who've said to me, boy, I would have had another one of the corroborating witnesses come after Cohen, so you've got a pad, so you don't just end your case with his controversial testimony.
Daniels herself also testified against Trump about the sexual encounter she says she had with him back in 2006. But Trump has denied that encounter and has pleaded not guilty to charges of falsifying business records.
There is no crime. It should be dismissed before you even have a verdict.
The defense has asked the judge to dismiss the case before it goes to the jury, arguing prosecutors failed to prove any criminal intent. The judge has not yet made a ruling. After the jury was dismissed today, both sides met to discuss jury instructions. Closing arguments are set to begin on Tuesday. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The Environmental Protection Agency is warning of a cybersecurity threat to public water systems. The agency says 70% of water utilities it inspected do not meet the standards from Safe Drinking Water Act to prevent these attacks. Some of the issues include outdated passwords and compromised login information. EPA and national security officials say letters have been sent to governors across the United States. And officials report China, Russia, and Iran have already disrupted water systems with cyber attacks. More than 100,000 melanomas are estimated to be diagnosed this year alone. And while people with darker skin have a lower risk of skin cancer, research shows it's often not detected and diagnosed until a later stage, which leads to lower survival rates.
It's a skin cancer myth experts are trying to debunk. Cancer doesn't only develop on light skin. Anyone can get it, but it may be different on darker skin.
When that melanoma appears, it doesn't really appear in sites that we commonly think where melanoma shows up.
The American Cancer Society says that while melanomas aren't common on darker skin, when they do occur, they may be hard to spot. It can look like this on the sole of feet, or appear under a fingernail or on the palm of a hand. Melanoma can also grow in or near the scalp like this, which is why experts say it's critical to know your skin and watch for changes.
If you're not looking at those places that you don't typically think about, then when the melanoma is caught, it may be more advanced, it can be deeper.
Other skin cancers can look different on darker skin too, including basal cell carcinoma, which might look lighter or darker than the person's usual skin tone. Kaposi sarcoma, it usually appears as tumors on the skin or places like inside the mouth, but can happen on other parts of the body too. And squamous cell carcinoma, most of which can be cured with treatment or minor surgery.
The same concept of looking for something that looks different than everything else that might be in that area, looking for something that's new. And if it's non-healing or bleeding, those are all reasons to bring it to the attention of your healthcare provider.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Cancer Society also says risk of melanoma rises with age, but it's not uncommon in younger adults, even those under the age of 30. Now, there was a very special surprise in Grapevine, Texas today. Heritage Elementary custodian Doug Barnes is retiring. Parents say Mr. Doug, as the kids call him, greets students every day with a high five. Today, families and students gathered in front of the school to say farewell and give Mr. Doug one last high five of their own. Mr. Doug says he is just trying to give back what was given to him.
Love everybody. You know, that's what we're missing now is love. I mean, and it shouldn't matter, you know, race or anything. I mean, but it's love. That's what we're missing in this world now, and I'm just trying to give it back.
Students say his kindness has given them the courage to do their best in school.
Terrific. Well, good afternoon, everyone. 89 degrees right about now. It feels like 103. Of course, the humidity and the heat are going to start taking its toll on everybody. We managed to get up to 93 as a high temperature above our 88 average, and not nearly a record, but we're going to be hovering somewhere between average and records for quite some time. As a matter of fact, we'll even take a look at your Memorial Holiday weekend weather coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Saw everybody out there sort of dealing with the heat, and you know, working outdoors is just getting tough. The only thing that's really saving us is that we've got this strong sea breeze blowing, and if you're outdoors and you get a breeze going, you're going to be fine. You know, it's just that in areas where there is no breeze, you're going to perspire a lot because the heat index is way up there. And boy, I mean, we shifted gears from sort of springtime with the thunderstorms to really hot weather, and it's all over basically deep south, well, the southern half of the state. Now to the north, it's just enough instability to pop some storms in the Dallas area and a couple out there in West Texas, but really that is the exception because these are popping because of the intense heating out there. As we look across the big map, all the big nasty weather today is way up here in Iowa. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but also high pressure, what we call the subtropical high, is now rolling back up into our area, and this big bubble of hot air is going to be over us for quite some time. In fact, this weekend is going to be a little on the warm side. We'll talk about it. Of course, nothing in terms of precipitation for us today, and of course those hazy skies just continue. But tonight the big weather is in Iowa, of all places. They hadn't had any. We were getting it all, but as the ring of fire moves northbound, this is where the real nasty stuff is occurring. As a matter of fact, I've got some video for you. Watch this. This is happening in Des Moines, Iowa, just about an hour ago. We got the video and we're going, oh my gosh. You know, you might have noticed that, and I'm going to use the number 30%. Remember, we're talking about that. These are no longer thunderstorms. These are downpours because they now have 30% more energy, 30% more heat, and therefore produce 30% more. Who came up with that number? Dr. Mann, M-A-N-N, saying that the heat is now added to everything on the planet is making the storms stronger. Can you question that after we see what happened in Houston? Well, look at our temperatures, looking at 91 for tomorrow for us. And we are on the nice side of things because we get that sea breeze coming in off the Gulf. But inland areas, hot and dry, 97 in San Antonio, and of course, well into the upper 90s throughout much of West Texas. We don't have any advisories for us, but already they're putting up these heat advisories for the deep South Texas. But that is close enough for us, and basically it's the same advice to you as well. Now in this kind of heating, you get you plenty of fluids, you know, wear protection from the sun. That's what a hat was invented for. And now as we go into today, this is where the potential is for some stormy weather, and it's just firing up here. Tomorrow, there is a potential of getting serious weather right about here. And that's the day where we're going to get a strong wind blowing into this area of lowest pressure where they're going to have the nasty stuff in Dallas. Are we invited? I don't think so, but we'll have a lot of cloud cover and gusty winds. So in the 20 to 25 mile an hour range, looking for an 88 to 90 tomorrow at the coast, 92 inland areas. And then, yeah, it's not a lot of improvement there as we get high heat index. And right now on Memorial Day, we're looking for a high temperature of 95 and a heat index of 110, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that as we get closer to the weekend. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on the phone. Here is Cuddy now.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, 1 million barrels of gas will be released from the reserves. It's the latest attempt to cool inflation. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 66 points, the S&P 500 up 13 points, the Nasdaq up 38 points. Oil down 54 cents, closing at $79.26 per barrel. Close to 2/3 of people polled say their livelihoods have dropped due to higher cost. That's according to a survey from the Federal Reserve, which also says about 1 out of every 6 adults weren't able to pay all their bills on a monthly basis. The report also states 65% say inflation has made their lives worse, with 19% claiming it is much worse. Analysts say the U.S. economy has improved in areas like job growth and pay raises, but the past higher prices still play a major factor. Drivers may soon see a change at the gas pump as the Biden administration announced plans to lower gas prices. The Biden administration says it is releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline from a Northeast reserve established after Superstorm Sandy in an effort to lower prices at the pump this summer. Tapping gasoline reserves is one of the few actions a president can take by himself to try to control inflation. The Energy Department reports the Northeast sale will require that fuel is transferred or delivered no later than June 30th. Alrighty, stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast when we come back. Plus, the graduation season is here, and it's double the fun with these two identical twin valedictorians. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, we have breaking news right now. The harrowing images coming in now. The tornadoes touching down, watches and warnings right now across several states. And this deadly turbulence that slammed a passenger jet, many passengers violently sent into the ceiling. We're next.
A historic first took place at the 212th Hamilton College commencement over the weekend. Identical twins Chloe and Olivia were named co-valedictorians for the class of 2024. For the first time ever, the Clinton New York College named identical twins co-valedictorians. Both are biology majors, both play lacrosse, and both have the same grade point average.
It was just so nice to have someone that you've worked with for 4 years and longer than that, just like be there up with you. And it was nice for my parents to not have to clap for one person and feel a little bad for the other. So it worked out well.
The twins from Massachusetts celebrated their achievement at the Hamilton College 2024 commencement this past Sunday. Well, congratulations to them. That's some pretty proud parents.
I imagine, but I don't know. Two twins have the exact same GPA? I'm suspicious.
Something sneaky happened
Well,
there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they did fine, but that's just rather unusual, wouldn't you say? Well, folks, for us, I know it's graduation time for a lot of places. I had a couple of nephews this weekend graduate. But as we start thinking about Memorial Weekend, we are looking at some high heat. As a matter of fact, while we're about 91, 92 through Friday, then we'll be in the mid-90s over the weekend. So like I said, I want you to have a great time. I just want you to watch the heat. Don't overdo it too much, especially, you know who? The little kids.
The little
They
people.
run around. Their cheeks are all red because they've been overexerting and they just don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
So that's when you got to give them a little cooling break.
Yeah, drink lots of water.
As we get to the weekend.
All righty, thank you, Mac, and thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight at 6.